I'm doing this conference and I'm looking to do it every year, I also want to include entertainment part in it. So this year when I did it, I had American Idol American Idol runner-up Alexis Gomez perform. And when we had a meeting with her, her first question is, do I have any, what's the word that they are, some type of music rights where they can allow to sing certain songs so that I or her don't get in trouble. So I don't know exactly what the terminology is. I guess what I'm looking into have the legal right to represent something so that somebody don't sue us. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
How do I own music rights? I'm looking to
Mhm.
be able to own a lot of music. I know that may be expensive. I don't want to own one song, or maybe I can start with one song, but how can somebody go about that?
Yeah. So what you're looking for is music licensing, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing. Filmmakers need people who do TV shows. You got to actually get music licensing. So if you want a particular song to be in your intro music, you have to actually get the license from the person who makes the song, right?
Mhm.
And of course, price has to be negotiated and things like that. But the term you look for is music licensing. Now, there are some companies that do music licensing in general, that can help you with that can actually contact the artists and things like that. But when you're dealing with local artists, it's a lot easier. You could just, contact them and say, hey, I want to use your song for this or that, and agree on a compensation plan and things like that. Now, when it comes to the, like the American Idol singer, if she's singing, let's say, a Beyonce song, right? That is going to be very difficult to get a license for a Beyonce song. Not only difficult, it's going to be very expensive to get that. So it's kind of, you got to kind of find, a local Beyonce, if that makes sense.
So my other question is this. So my other question is that, so with two parties like us or hosting an event, want an artist to come perform at my event. So whose responsibility to pursue that license? Is it the artist or my responsibility?
Well, no, if an artist is coming to perform their own music, you don't need licensing for that because they're there to perform their own music.
Yeah.
You would only need licensing for music that's being presented, that the artist isn't there for, that the artist doesn't have any knowledge of, if that makes sense.
What if the artist wants to sing somebody else's song and you know what I'm saying? So is that their responsibility?
Oh yeah, usually you have to get permission from the BMI or ASCAP and go through their channels. And if it's owned by a publisher, then it's either to the pro to the publisher, so you can get it. What's the word? Not license again, but permission. Permission is a big word to get the original song sung.
Yeah.
Sung at.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of just, getting the licensing right, getting the permission. Sometimes like Harry said, you have to contact the publishing company, but it really just depends on what song they're trying to sing, But yeah, to protect yourself as far as legally, that's what a lot of places, they just do it anyway, but to protect yourself legally, yeah, you would definitely have to get those rights.
Also, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to make a suggestion that, as I did in the 90s, dealing with music artists, doing their own stuff, doing shows with other music artists, not knowing exactly what they had going on or not. The one thing that I have recommended then, and I do now, is if you don't have legal representation, you may want to just get yourself an entertainment attorney that you can put on retainer, refer to, make sure that if you're putting on an event that they cover every little step of the way for you, because that's what they do. And they do it very well. I mean, I lived in Colorado and I had an entertainment attorney out of Chicago. And you want to be very careful who you pick, but at the same time, a wise thing to do. Then that's just one piece you don't have to worry about. Just like we were talking about the BMI and ASCAP, they do the things for you. That's what you're paying them for, is to get your money and to cover you. And to have legal representation is very, I almost, with music people, I always recommend, just like I'm doing some commercial stuff with some people right now, and the very thing I said to everyone that's submitting music or beats for the commercials is make sure you have legal representation, just because.
So good. That's so good.
I also, correct me if I'm wrong, because when I was working in the industry, I was more on the creative aspect, not so much the, legal side of everything. But depending on the venue of where you have an event, doesn't the venue have to have like a license to play music?
Yes.
And that takes the piece off of like the event coordinator. Like if Jahan's having an event at a specific place, she might not necessarily have to worry about that because the venue has the license covered. Is that correct? Okay.
That is
Okay.
correct.
I'm just trying to make it simple for Jahan, because I'm like,
Well,
she's like, oh no, I got to do everything.
here's the other piece too. If you're doing an annual thing or a sporadic thing, it's not, you may be doing it at a hotel, or you may be doing it at a different location. It's not as critical as like a nightclub or a restaurant or a coffee shop that may have someone there every week or 3 nights a week. That's where you're gonna get tagged by the ASCAP and BMI people. They'll do their mystery shops at those places. And they, I did a restaurant for 11 years, and it would have been probably 12 years, except that there was a year that we didn't do anything because she just decided she didn't want to pay no more. And they walked in and did a mystery shop, and she still didn't want to pay. And they took her to court, and she was coming out 23 grand at the end of the day. And eventually got back into having entertainment in the restaurant. But the key thing of it is, this is why you have yourself covered. And it can happen in a number of different ways. I did an event with the US Olympics where an American Idol artist showed up. I can't remember her name, Atasia, something like that. It's been a while. But she got up on stage and was checking everything out and tuning up and all this, and just said she's not performing because the gear didn't meet her expectations. And legally, her contract said if it doesn't, she's not required. And she walked off.
Probably Fantasia.
That's who it was. I'm sorry, that's who it was. Yeah.
American
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know she was a diva.
The diva is one thing, but once you as an artist or as a producer or whatever, once you know the leaps and bounds of your contract, you can navigate around through there, and some do and some don't.
Wow.
So basically it sounds like that kind of boils down to, depending on, well, you're doing a virtual conference, correct, Jahan? Okay. Okay, so then when you did the virtual conference last year, so she was performing for everybody virtually, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But
luckily she has her own song, so she decided let's just be on the safe side. So she said she's just gonna sing her own song. And then also that year she had released a new single, so she sang that too. So yeah.
Okay, because it sounds like from this conversation, it's the safest bet is for the artist to perform their own songs, so then you don't have to go through all that, and then it's on the artist to make sure they have all of their stuff set up. So that way,
like last week, you own the master, you own the copyright. If you have everything as an artist, who's going to challenge you? And if they do, then you're prepared.
Definitely. But Jahan, if you run into any issues or questions or anything at all, I know you can either hop on another Saturday session or reach out to me, and we'll figure it out, or I'll put you in contact with somebody that can help. So don't worry.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I know I will be having a lawyer. I will be hiring a lawyer for my business. But then I'm wondering, it's more for a small business consulting type of lawyer. Now you guys make me think about a question I can ask as I'm fishing for one like, hey, do you know anything about artists?
Entertainment,
Protection?
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And I think too, if your business is centered around, you know, conferences or putting on things like that, it could be beneficial to maybe just find an entertainment lawyer in general, because you would fall under that category if you're doing
Mhm.
conferences, if you're having events, because they handle those types of things too. So I know a general lawyer is one thing, or like a small business lawyer is one thing, but you know, if you could run into an issue like where I have a vendor for this event and you know, XYZ, an entertainment lawyer might be able to help you navigate that to maintain
Yeah.
your safety in general. But that just might be something to look into, because I'm not too sure if, you know, that would fit what
Yeah,
you're
because
looking
I
for.
do want to involve entertainment in
Mhm.
and then also I want to support artists too. Another thing I also was trying to get involved with, Dayton Culture Works has this grant that they give to artists.
Oh, I saw that.
It's twofold. The first part of the year, they are reaching out to businesses who want to support artists, where they'll give the businesses money and then they say, okay, who are you hiring? What's the plan? So that's one fold. And then the second fold is the grant is to the artist directly. And then they ask them what are they planning to do with their works, and they have to do it within a year. So I know eventually we want to do stuff where we get artists out there to do different performances, give them a platform. And so that's why I was very interested about the rights, the licensing. And then, we didn't get chosen for this year, but, hopefully eventually
Definitely.
I'll be able, because I see myself where we hire poets to do different things, because it's women encouraging, like you can encourage
Definitely.
women through poetry, singing and then that way we get to support the local artists in Dayton and people get to hear more about them. I was like, oh, who is this person? I didn't know you do this and that. So that's where I guess we ended up can help women artists too. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
Open mic, open mic, open mic.